UFC Fight Night this coming weekend is headlined by the light heavyweights. Johnny Walker takes on Zhang Mingyang. Now this is my main card. Quick picks. Kicking off the main card, we've got a UFC newcomer, Lake Naraji. Hope I said his name right, but I probably butchered it. And he takes on Kiefer Crosby, who's 10-5 and lost his UFC debut to Sam Patterson. I was a bit surprised to see this as the main card opener when you've got the likes of Loney Kavanagh taking on Charles Johnson and Michelle Pereira taking on Cole Daukaus on the prelims. I thought they might have been slightly more fitting to open up the main card, but here we are. And I'm going to lean towards Naraji, the UFC newcomer. Kiefer Crosby, I just haven't seen much that impressed me in his UFC debut, and it's hard to say, you know, being half Irish like myself, I want to back my boy, but I am going to lean towards the UFC newcomer for Lake Naraji to get the victory in this one. Next up, we have Sumadaji taking on Kevin Borjas. Now, I'm leaning towards Sumadaji in this one. He's got a 3-inch height and 4-inch reach advantage over Kevin Borjas, and he's been in the UFC since 2018, and he's still only 29 years old, whilst Kevin Borjas is 27, but he's 1-1 in the UFC. So I just feel like the experience of Sumadaji is going to be able to figure him out and get the job done in this one. Then we got the heavyweights, Sergey Pavlovich taking on Waldo Cortez Acosta. Can Cortez Acosta take out his second Sergey in a row after last time out beating Sergey Spivak? He's on a 5-fight win streak at the moment, while Sergey Pavlovich, he's recently bounced back, getting the win over Jairzinho Rozenstruik after his back-to-back losses to Tom Aspinall and Alexander Volkov. So how do we see this one going? It's the heavyweights. Anything can happen when it comes to the heavyweights, so who knows? But I'm leaning towards, if we can see the vintage Pavlovich when he was just a wrecking machine going through everyone. You know, both guys similar height, 6'2", 6'3", and surprisingly, Pavlovich has, I think, a 6-inch reach advantage with an 84-inch reach. But if we can see the Pavlovich who's kind of throws caution to the wind and throws bombs, then I think he can take out Cortez Acosta. But on recent performances, you've got to back Cortez Acosta. 5-fight win streak, he's been on a tear, so I am leaning towards Waldo Cortez Acosta to defeat his second Sergey in a row. An hour into the co-main event, Brian Ortega takes on Aljamain Sterling. Now, I'm leaning towards Aljamain in this one. I think Brian Ortega, he has worked on his striking, he has improved his boxing, but he's too slow with the feet. Aljamain, he doesn't allow himself to get into dangerous situations. He's kind of in and out with the striking, single strikes, maybe a 1-2. Uses the kicks to maintain distance, and I just don't think Brian Ortega is going to be able to really get close to him to use his striking at all. And is he going to be able to take Aljamain down? Aljamain's good with the wrestling. Obviously, Brian Ortega's probably best path to victory is generally with his jiu-jitsu skills, latching onto a submission. But I think Aljamain, he probably could take Brian Ortega down and play it safe and hold him there and keep himself safe with his own jiu-jitsu skills. But for the most part, I feel like this is going to be kind of a weird striking battle, and because of that, I'm leaning towards Aljamain to get the job done in this one. And then it's the main event between the light heavyweights, Johnny Walker taking on the Mountain Tiger, Zhang Mingyang. I'm going to lean towards Zhang in this one. You know, he's 27, he's 6'2", 75.5-inch reach. He's at a 6.5 reach disadvantage to Johnny Walker, who on paper has an 82-inch reach, and he's 6'5" apparently. But either way, he's coming off back-to-back KO losses to Volkan Oezdemir and Magomed Ankalaev. So while Zhang, he's knocked out all 3 of his UFC opponents, and I think he's going to get a 4th. Johnny Walker, how is he going to look after back-to-back KO defeats? Is he going to be a bit tentative, a bit nervous, and going up against someone who, you know, he's got clean striking, he's very good with the fundamentals, whilst Johnny Walker is typically chaotic? I think he's going to walk into one and he's going to get knocked out. So I'm favouring Zhang Mingyang to get a 4th KO victory in the UFC. Let me know your thoughts on this card and the main event, how you think these fights are going to play out. Also, for us UK fans, it's an 8 o'clock prelim start, 11 o'clock main card, so not too late. We could probably do it if we just have a slightly late night. But yeah, make sure you follow the page and drop me a comment with your thoughts on this card.